Hello, this is Goto. Welcome back to Feed the Beast Interactions Remastered. Today we're going to be implementing what we spoke about last time with oil processing and stuff. Really quickly though, I will show you the things I have done since last time. So I put in this wireless transmitter up here, and that's just a wireless redstone kind of thing. If I hit this button here, that's going to set a redstone pulse to the linked receiver, which I have put over here. So that's just a way I can come down here and reset these interfaces should they get messed up for whatever reason that they are getting messed up. I haven't actually had a chance to test it since last time since I built it. The issue has not occurred again, but if it does, we'll be ready to test it there. And then I also did cleanup at the fluid tanks. So I had mentioned that, hey, since we have all of these hooked up to fluid storage buses, and we have all of the fluids available via the storage exposer, I instead hooked up a storage exposer up here with a fluid provider pipe. So that is now providing all of the fluids. Oh, maybe it's not. Actually, I'm looking at it and it is definitely not connected on the fluid provider pipe here. Unless that's glitching. It did glitch out before. Here, let me just break this and place it back. Yeah, okay, there. It is showing connected. I think it was just a visual glitch. Because I was having the same problem with the provider pipe as well before. Anyways, so that is providing all the fluids that are on our storage buses on our AE network. And so then all of these provider pipes that were on these tanks became redundant. So I moved the basic pipes underneath the tanks. On this side here, I had to also move the thing that does the what's that called down there? Or the shutter opening and closing on the bottom as well. I don't know why we are not full on brine. Let's go take a look at brine really quick. Quick troubleshooting to start our episode out. Whoops. Okay. And then brine might just be out of fuel, so let me bring some fuel with me. All right, Brian, what's the deal, yo? Um. Okay, so it's definitely full of brine in here, but it's not like outputting the brine. What is the problem? Did I screwdriver this aluminum drum on accident? Let's go back to the outside. So the bottom of this should be set to down, unnamed not name, which I think is what it thinks the aluminum drum is, but I guess let me grab a screwdriver and make sure that the screwdriver is still set to auto output. Oh yeah, that's right. Also because I have the item provider down here, it's quite a long time to get the items to my chest. I might just take this. I might take a bunch of this stuff and just yoink it down there just so it's kind of clearing the way up here. Anyways, that was not quite a great use of time. I should have just ran up and grabbed it manually if I was going to come up here and do that. Will not drain fluid. Will drain fluid downwards to adjacent tank. So why is it not draining the fluid? So it's set down. Hold on, which barrel is which here? That is not the right barrel. This one. Put the fluid detector back on there. And this needs to be inverted here. Okay. Since I'm in here, I'll go ahead and put this Coke in here, and then let me dump out that barrel. So why are we not getting the brine out? What are you sitting on? You're sitting on an insertion pipe. You should definitely be able to get the brine out. Did I not give brine a destination? Is that what it is? I didn't configure brine over here. Watch that be it. Liquid lithium. Oh, that's the problem. After I set these up, I forgot to actually give these a destination. So phosphoric acid, water, watch like a bunch of things just like rush over because they're like, oh my god, we have a place to go suddenly. Uh, yep, mana. Here's Starlight, Brine. Oops, that was my bad. Apparently, I only halfway finished setting this up. Okay, so is Brine coming now? I would expect Brine to come over here now that it is unblocked. I mean, I see other gases going. Let me just toggle the cover maybe. This is connected over there, right? Like, I don't know what the problem is now. Yep, still not draining. Oh, did it? You know what? I don't think I screwdrivered it. There we go. I didn't screwdriver it after putting it back down. All right, we're good now. There it goes. There goes all the brine. I was wondering, like, what's up with that brine tank? We make brine so fast. This tank should have been full like ages ago. And yeah, it was not hooked up. That's why. Okay. How are our chickens doing? They are doing good. I made a big order of Fluix crystals. I made like 512 crystals with all of our eggs in one batch, so the eggs got depleted. Anyways, so today we are doing oil distillation and stuff, oil cracking, etc. So I've made, last time we were doing a little bit of spreadsheeting. I did my spreadsheeting and turned it into some diagrams, which I'm going to pull up now if I can get this thing to work. Okay, here we go. All right, so my diagrams are working. My voice is still working. Okay, cool. So we're going to have a few things going on here. So first of all, we are going to have our empowered oil coming in. This is going to be an input from external system. Our empowered oil comes in to our first distillation tower. That's going to turn it into diesel, which will return to fuel processing, as well as sulfuric gas and sulfuric naphtha. So we will take those, and I'm going to have a large chemical reactor for desulfuring specifically. So we're going to be importing hydrogen and oxygen, but we're only going to import oxygen based on sulfuric acid needs. So when we process this stuff, it makes hydrogen sulfide, which we can then add oxygen to get sulfuric acid. But we do need to do something with a hydrogen sulfide. But if our sulfuric acid is full, I don't want to be like just wasting oxygen to avoid the sulfuric acid. So we're only going to import oxygen to make sulfuric acid if we need sulfuric acid, or if our sulfuric acid is low, I should say. And then for the excess hydrogen sulfide, if we do not need sulfuric acid, I'm going to have a void cover on the input bus where the hydrogen sulfide is, and then we're just going to void any excess if we have too much hydrogen sulfide. So then we will have our desulfured refinery gas and naphtha. Those are going to go into steam cracking units. So these are the circuits we're going to have for our steam cracking units. In total, we're going to have 3 steam cracking units. We're going to have a one with circuit number 1 for naphtha, refined gas, and light fuel. We'll have one with circuit number 3 just for heavy fuel, and then we'll have one with circuit number 2 for butane, butene, propane, and ethane. And then these gases are going to be processed / reprocessed in our big distillation tower over here. So this is going to be taking a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 inputs. I didn't write that down. 8 inputs. And I put all of the outputs for all of these 8 inputs into Excel, and I just saw where we had overlapping outputs that didn't match. So on layer 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, we have outputs that do not match between all the recipes. But on layer 6 through 11, we have the same outputs, which is butadiene, propane, propene, ethane, ethylene, and methane. So nothing above output number 5 is different. So we're going to just be using single slices up there, and then down here we'll be using quad slices to get the fluids out. And I know they say 5, but like realistically, like if they were dual hatches and they had 2 output tanks, that would be sufficient for us. Because I just want to use multi-tank outputs when there is going to be there's going to be potentially recipes changing over, so that the machine doesn't like start and stop because there's fluids blocking its output. So having multiple output places for the fluid to be able to go will be able to keep the machine going. And then our final outputs from this process is going to be toluene, benzene, butadiene, propene, ethylene, methane, and helium. And those will just go into our storage. So, yeah. That's what we're going to be doing. So I have set up a kit for cracking units. So I'm going to go ahead. I haven't actually requested them yet. We're going to do 3 cracking units kits, because we're going to be making 3 different cracking units for 3 different circuit recipes. So here we go. I automated all the things we need for that, and yeah, that's just going to take a minute to make that up. And then we can also do our distillation tower slices. So we're going to have 2 distillation bottoms, because we're going to be making 2 towers. So we can go ahead and request that. And then we're going to have a certain number of slices. So we're going to be having... Let me go back to my paint really quick. We're going to have 3 normal slices here and then 6 normal slices here. So we're going to have a total of 9 normal slices. So let's get 9 of these guys. 9 slice kits. And then all of our crafting CPUs are occupied, so we're going to have to wait a second before we can request our quad slices. But we will want a total of 5 quad slices. And yeah, these are going to be taking a while. That is a lot of things I just asked for. Let's just go take a look at our crafting status over here. This is 2 cracking unit kit. It looks like it already got one of them. Yep, here's one of the cracking units. There's some of the... I see some of the slices coming in. Probably what's most busy right now is our bending machine doing plates, so I can come over here and... Nope, it's not actually. What is most busy? Arc furnace is doing wrought iron and doing steel. Okay. Well, let's give it a hand here. I don't know why it's doing glass for... But yeah, it's just a beautiful sight to see when everything's just working so smoothly like that. Alright, we're doing some stainless steel rotors, high voltage coils for the input, for the energy hatches, gotcha. Okay, and then we are doing steel rotors over here. Something wrong with steel rotors? Nope, they're going. Okay. We can actually give that one a boost. Alright, there we go. I guess just the steel and the rotors ended up being a bottleneck for all that, huh? Alright, so there we go. And then we also needed 5 quad slices. And this one's... Wait, 5 quadruple output? Oh, that's right, I made this earlier. Okay. So really it just needs to make the clean casings and then it'll be done. This one I will go help it out over here. Okay. So that's just churning away. It'll be done in a few seconds. Excellent. Alright. Believe it or not, this is everything we need to build all of those multi-blocks. Oh, and we need an LCR kit, I forgot. Large... No, I just have it called LCR kit. Okay, LCR set. Wait, I have it called set instead of kit? Whatever, dude. It's fine. Okay. So, crafting up one more big set of stuff. Looks like, again, it's doing a fair amount of steel to make for the hatches and stuff. You go over here, help the bending machines out. I think those are going to be our bottleneck. And wherever the energy hatch is also going to be a big craft, but I think it's already done with that one, or it's currently doing it. Nope, it's done. It just finished it. I saw it as I closed the window. Okay, wow. It is sure nice to just be able to click a button and get a whole multi-block set of stuff out of it instead of having to, you know, sit there and craft all the pieces by itself. All right, there we go. Look at that. You know what I'm going to do, actually? I'm going to take a chest, and I'm just going to yoink this one and put an empty chest back. All right, so here we go. We have all of our stuff ready to go. Okay, first thing I wanted to do is see how tall our tower is going to be. I want it to be enclosed to this room, so if I need to, I'm going to dig it down into the floor. So first, I need to check how big this room is, so we're at 9 here. So we need to dig it down 3 blocks. I can do that. And that's for our big distillation tower, so let's kind of draw out where we want stuff first. So all our oil processing is over here, so I think it would be a good idea to have my first distillation tower here. So that's going to be our one that's 4 blocks tall. So that would be from here to here. So that'd be this distillation tower. Then we're going to need our large chemical reactor. I'll leave a couple spaces in between just for running stuff. So large chemical reactor is going to be, whoops, leave a couple spaces, he says, and then puts it directly against it. All right, so that's going to be our large chemical reactor there. Maybe we move it one over so that it is... Yeah, how about we move both of these over here? So we'll have this one be 2 over, and then we will have this one be 2 over from the wall over there, and that gives a space of 3 in between. Okay, I'm liking that a little better. Okay, and then we are going to need our cracking units and then our big distillation tower. So our cracking units are... The cracking unit itself looks like this. It's a 3x3, but we're going to be stacking this and sharing the walls here and there. The way this is set up, it certainly seems to imply that we really can just have the inputs and outputs like anywhere. So I am going to have... We're going to kind of stack them up like an L, I think. So we'll have like... Well, pretend this is one entire cracking unit. We're going to have them like this. And then in the middle, they're going to be sharing a corner. That's where I want them to get steam input because they're all going to be making steam. And then on the end, on the other side, they're all going to be outputting something. So I can put a non-nupal output hatch over there, and then that can catch all of the outputs. So we can just have one line for output. And then that line can feed directly to our distillation tower. So yeah, let's go ahead and set that up. So I think I want to go around here-ish. Maybe here-ish, sounds good. All right, so the structure is oil cracking unit. It's gonna be like this, then 2 more, and then the back band, and then this would all be Canthal. You know what? I think I'd like it to scoot it over 1 block. Let's do that really quick. Just to have extra room in here. So that's going to be the Canthal coils. Whoops. Whoops, whoops. That back one is actually fine, technically. Okay, so that's going to be the cracking units, and they are going to go up like this. That'll be the top of this one, and then the one that's here is going to go up another 2 blocks. So they will look like that, roughly. So that's going to be our 3 cracking units. They would have the input hatch here for steam. They're going to need their own input energy hatches. They would need their own fluid input hatches. And we can just use a... Like, we can't use any of the intercepting blocks for that, so let's see. Input hatch will be for steam here. And then these can be the input hatches for the actual fluids, and then I can have the buses with the circuits on this side, and then on the other side, or I could also have them on the other side too if it gets too crowded over here, but on this side I could have the output for the cracked fluids. Do we have non-nupal input hatch? Okay, let me make another one of those, but with this one I wanted to make this an output hatch. Okay. So there we go. Looks kind of funny, but it's gonna do the trick, I think. Only awkward thing about this one is gonna be getting power up here. I might route power in the outside or underneath these blocks yet. I'm not sure yet. But for now, I think this is looking good. So that's gonna be more or less what this looks like. I think I can go ahead and say I'm satisfied with this. What does the inside of this multi-block look like? Is it hollow or solid? I don't know why I ask that every time and then it's just hollow every time. Yeah, it's hollow. Who would have thunk it? Alright. So that's gonna look like this, like that. And then up here it's gonna look like this. And we're gonna have some extra coils because these were calculated as if these would be freestanding multi-blocks, not wall sharing like how we're doing. But that's fine because we can just use the coil somewhere else later. Alright. Oh, right, this is where we're gonna need the controllers here somewhere. I could probably just have the controllers on this side. Sure, that would probably be fine. Okay, so let me finish this up. Okay, so I think I'd like to actually go ahead and do the controllers on this side then, since we can input and output on whichever side. I'm gonna put the buses with the controllers. So, because these don't have a circuit slot, right? No. Okay, so input bus. That's an output bus. Let's try again. Input bus. Alright, so input buses. And then we're going to set the circuits once we actually start routing the fluids over here. Alright, and then finish this slice off. Alright, so it's still saying invalid structure because we do not have this closed up. Right, okay. So let's do, I'm going to go ahead and go down here and break some blocks so we can plan to route a power line. Then we're going to take our energy input hatches, drop them there. This is where we will have our quad input hatches, I think. Well, we're going to have 2 of them be quad, and then 1 of them be a single, because the one for heavy fuel is only getting 1 fluid, so. But these are also output hatches there. Whoops. Alright, let me go and get more blocks, and then I can return these coils, since we have all the coils we need. So, quad quad input hatch. Okay, we need 2 of those. That's just going to take a second. I think probably extruding the pipes is going to take the longest step. Oh no, it doesn't extrude the pipes, right? It turns them into plates and then crafts them together. And then this step takes a while. Okay, we'll come back to that when it's done. Or I can remote request it, I guess. Okay, so we're going to have the fluid output inputs on this side. And then we're going to need the thing that makes steam. Okay, steam, I didn't really think of. How do we want to make steam? We can use the... I think we can use a fluid heater. Yeah, probably fluid heater is going to be our best bet. It turns water into steam on very cheap. So let's just use a fluid heater for that. Let's go ahead and make said fluid heater. Alright. Well, request what we can, and then Anthol, I saw we need 4 of those. Because it needed some 4x wires. Alright, let me also bookmark the heater. Okay, tempered glass. We apparently have not automated tempered glass, so... Tempered glass, let's get that automated really quick. This is a blast furnace recipe or an arc furnace recipe. Let's just do the arc furnace. It looks much cheaper, and currently it's faster. Yeah, currently it would be faster. So let's do the arc furnace recipe here. Alright, throw that in our arc furnace. Just drop it in there because it's right behind us. I know where it is. Alright, and then we can go ahead and make one of them. And now we should be able to make our heater. I didn't realize I was working in the pattern terminal. That's fine. You can still craft out of the pattern terminal. It just acts weird. Alright, so... fluid heater, it's going to need power, and then it's going to need to send the fluid up here. So I could just have a... I could just have it like down here. And then have it getting power from underneath, because there's going to be a power line running down there. And then I can have it get water from an unending bowl, maybe. And then just pipe up the steam from there. All right, let's get our quad hatches. Wait, how did I get... Are the quad hatches not done? Hold up. Did I request output hatches instead of input hatches? Mildly confused. Well, I need one more of those, so I'm just gonna screwdriver this guy back into an input hatch. Okay, not sure why that happened. I must have just requested the wrong item. Yeah, the output hatches I needed over here are still over here, so I'm not really sure what happened. Alright, here we go. Plop this in here, and that should finish the multi-block. Unless it's going to go ahead and complain now that it's like, yo, structure incomplete. Yeah, I thought that might be the case, to be honest. Let's look at the structure again and see if there's like some kind of caveat that I am not looking at here. Like, it doesn't say what's wrong, but I have a feeling... Normally, it needs to have an input hatch in the middle. So let's try having an input hatch in the middle, because I think that's where it normally wants steam to come in. And then it needs an output hatch on this side. Well, it has an output hatch on that side. That's not the problem. I think this needs to be on the other side, maybe. All right. And then close that up. So still not working, but I think if we put the input hatch over here, do you like that? And we have an extra input hatch here. Okay, now I'm slightly confused because it's saying structure incomplete, but as far as I know, it's incomplete. Or it is complete. Input bus over here. We have an output hatch over here. We have an input hatch in the middle. And we have an input hatch on this side. What's the problem? Oh, I'm dumb. The controller's in the middle. That's funny. Okay. Okay, let me reconfigure all the buses how I had them then. So input hatch here for Steam. And then put the controller in the middle. Wow, how did I not realize that? Okay, there we go. Okay, that is forming up. And now I'm like, okay, so where am I going to have this controller then? Like, in the floor? Maybe, I don't know. It doesn't really actually particularly matter. I guess let me clear some space over here. Just to be able to access the back of this guy. Sure, we can punch a hole through here. I'm going to go ahead and... Oh, coal vein quest complete. Wow. How I didn't do that before, I have no clue. Okay, so cleared out some space behind here. And I didn't really want to cut a hole in here. I'll just fill that in with cobblestone, and then we're gonna... Boop. I'd maybe like to get the ore out of here. I don't like the look of it, but it's fine for the moment. If I keep digging in, it's just going to reveal more ore, so... Okay, so let's go... Whoa, 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 wrong tool, wrong tool. Don't do that. Okay. I'm going to keep the buses by the controllers as well, so that we can easily know which goes with which. So one up here. Oil cracking unit here and here. Input bus there and there. Alright, I don't think we're actually going to have any blocks on this side, so this can be like just a closed off thing. Alright. And that one's incomplete up there. What's your problem? Oh, energy hatch for that one, right. Let's do the energy hatch. We're going to have wires coming up here. Let's do the energy hatch here. Okay, there we go. All three of our cracking units are complete. And now just to make this symmetrical, I'm going to say let's scoot this energy hatch over here as well. Okay. That one, unfortunately, has to be over there, and I don't want to put it in the corner to run an extra wire. It's going to be facing downward, so you're not even going to see it. I'll have this one facing out just because it's going to be in line with the other one. All right. And why did I make three quadruple input hatches? Oh, that's why I made three, because I was going to have one for heavy fuel. Right. Okay. So you are going to be a regular input hatch because you're just going to be heavy fuel. And then you are going to be the circuit 3 boy over here. Circuit 3. I'm going to put this down here because if we ever add another cracking unit, it's going to collide into that one. So this is going to be circuit 3. So this is our heavy cracking unit. And then here, I'll just have 1 and 2 at the top. So 1 and then 2. So 2 is going to be our bottom one. That's going to be for butane, butene, propane, and ethane. Propane and ethane. And then the top one's going to be for refinery gas, naphtha, and light fuel. Okay. And this is going to be for steam in the middle. Looking good so far. And I'm going to need some space down here to run wiring. Let's just get the fluid heater here situated. I'm going to need a bowl, unending bowl, and then a pump. I don't need to use such a high tier pump. Let me just get a LV pump. Pump. LV pump is totally sufficient. Rotors are really slow to craft. Oh, I forgot to mention, I had been messing with this level maintainer, and for some reason I could not get it to work for Fluix crystals. Like, no matter what. So I think it doesn't like Fluix crystals for some reason. So right now I say, hey, maintain 100 of them, and if you are under 100, craft 512. Which we don't currently have enough eggs to craft, but if I change this to a more reasonable number, like 10, I would expect it to start crafting Fluix crystals in our compressor over here. Like, right? Creates one Fluix crystal with 16 Fluix enriched eggs, which we definitely have enough of to make 10 of. But it's just like, nah, bro. I'm not going to do it. So I don't know why that's not working. Like, even if it's not checking regularly here, I'm making it check a whole lot. Still not doing it. So I don't know what its problem is for Fluix crystal specifically. The sulfur and blaze powder was still working, so I don't know why Fluix isn't working, but for now I will just be relegated to manually keeping that in stock or actively crafting it when we need it. Which isn't that bad. It just compresses the eggs, which we stockpile up enough to make 500 eggs, so... Okay, anyways, I'm Peepo talking over here. Pump is what I came up here for. Peepo talk. So the pump's gonna go on the bottom of this block. And we're gonna set it to import, and then I'm gonna have the unending bowl here, which I did request. Alright, so this should now be filled with water. And then the recipe for a fluid heater for water is to make steam, we just put circuit number 1. Okay, so when we hook that up with power, it should make circuit 1. Alright, cool. I'm not going to route all of the pipes here yet because I'm not even sure what kind of pipes I want to use. It's probably going to be ender fluid conduits just because they can move multiple fluids without them crashing into each other. You could technically use... there are multi-fluid pipes with GregTech. They're non-Upal pipes. But 2 reasons I don't want to use those. First of all, they're really expensive. This is 9 pieces of titanium for 1 piece of pipe. And then secondly, it's only 9. We're going to have more than 9 fluids. Third, we would have to use filters to, like, route stuff. Like, when we get to a fork, we have to say, okay, fluids A, B, C go this way, fluids D, E, F go that way. And it would just be, like, kind of an annoying ordeal. So, okay, that's gonna be kind of our prep for this area. I'll finish building more in a little bit. I need to step away for a bit, and then we will continue once I get back. So, see you on the other side of that. Okay, I am back and ready to put this stuff together. I guess we're... Ooh, excuse me. First things first, we should figure out where we wanted the second distillation tower. Let me go ahead and dig some more blocks out here. Alright. Can just punch a hole here, we'll be fine. Actually, I don't know why I'm digging this out, because the machines are supposed to be lined up with where the wall was. I just broke that there for access. Alright, let's do like 3 blocks over here, and I think this is where I want to have my distillation tower. And I'm just going to make a big old hole in the ground and have it in that hole. So let's go ahead and 3 blocks of space. make my drill bit larger and just remeasure. Measure once, cut twice or something? Or wait, no, it's measure once, cut once. Okay, well, that's where we're cutting. And why are you not cutting? Oh, I know why it's not cutting. It's not cutting because it actually doesn't cut, I've learned, if you're hitting tile entities. So, we go down here, we're probably going to see that, yeah, there is conduit here in the way. Let me just move this temporarily. Alright, now it should cut. There we go. And then I can just reconnect that, no problem. Though I don't know that I want it down that deep. This is probably fine. Okay, let me tidy up the kind of the edges here. We don't need that open. Do y'all remember when I like dug this out way back in episode? I don't even remember when it was. I don't really need this conduit coming through here. Let me just route it around this corner here. Whoop. Knock it back one more block. Okay, perfect. So that conduit is tucked away back there. Okay, on the distillation tower, where can you have the power plug? Can you have the power plug on any layer, or does it have to be the bottom? Looks like it's got to be the bottom. Okay. And we cannot rotate the distillation tower. That's still a shame. That would have been so funny if we could. Alright, let's put our distillation tower right here. And we're going to have our input coming basically from here straight down to there. So that's going to be our other non-nupal input hatch. Non-nupal input hatch. Go ahead and grab that. Oh, right. I really need to move that satellite request chest to be closer because this is so far away over here. Let's just go ahead and move all of this stuff. I'm going to go ahead and take a distraction from what I was working on to just reorganize this. Honestly, yeah, let's move this as well. And then now anything that doesn't need pipe over here, we can go ahead and move it back. Okay, we can move the rest of that stuff later. Alright. Inventory is omega full, I know. Could just put this cobblestone away for a second. Inventory still omega full, cool. Alright, since we have a channel here, I'm going to put our interface here. This one is for getting items out of our network. So I need a basic pipe there on that one. And then I need it set to default route. And then here we can have our ender chest for extracting items. And that's going to be where... Wait a second. I have two ender chests, right? Okay, the ender chest for just extracting items, we're going to have the chassis pipe on that with what modules were we using on that one? Extractor module. And then I had a module upgrade, and then I had these in there. Okay. So that's still going to import into our system. And then for our remote ordering items, because the requester is here on this side, anything that remote orders is going to come out of this face here. So let me put that up here. And Ender Chest does let you open it with a block above it, which is nice. And then we'll put remote ordering pipe there, link that up. All right, we got all our items visible there. And it should be super fast now. Like if I request that, yeah, it's already in there. Like I barely had a chance to see it. And then that's pretty quick to get it back into the system. Though to be honest, like Borderline don't even need this, I could just use an import bus, but it's fine because that interface is serving multiple purposes. So it's good for us. Don't think we need any disconnection upgrades. So yeah, we're all good here. We have 26 out of 32 used channels here. Ooh, that's a lot, actually. We might need more channels over here at some point. But we'll see. If we do, we can just run another branch off of here and get another P2P out from our controller. Okay. Now that that's settled, what did I even order? I forgot. Oh yeah, my Nanupo input hatch, which I just threw on the ground, and I forget you can't see it when it's on the ground, but I found it. So this is going to go straight from there to in there. So those don't really need any filters. In fact, that line can kind of be separate, but I'm going to have the lines connected anyways. Let me go ahead and get a bunch of ender conduits. I think we're going to be using ender conduits and filters and such. So conduit, wait, conduit is in here, and we should be able to autograph them. Yeah, let me just get like a stack. Oh, we don't know how to make pressurized fluid conduits, I guess. These guys. Do we know how to make fused quartz? Fused quartz. We do know how to make fused quartz, and I used all of our regular fluid conduits because fluid conduits are not good. Okay. So pressurized fluid conduit, you can stay around another day. No, I should just go ahead and automate it. Okay, pressurized fluid conduit, we're going to be using this recipe because I don't want to make regular fluid conduits. There's just really no need for them. Wait, let me get that recipe back for a second. Let me set this to or dictionary substituted allowed, just in case we have different colored fused glass or different types of fused glass. And yeah, okay, now we should be able to make ender fluid conduits. Where are they? Conduit. I don't know why I'm searching for ender instead of conduit. There we go. Get a stack of these bad boys. Just need to make some rose gold ingots. I'm just going to wait for a few of these to craft up so I can start running wires with them. So I've been stacking our, well, this upgrade is configured. I've been stacking our upgrades back into their default state so that they take up less space in storage. So we look at module. We have quite a lot of crafting modules, item sync modules, and module upgrades. I don't think we're going to be using a whole lot going forward, but they are there if we need them. And at this point, I didn't really need to get rid of them. All right, ender fluid conduits. Oh, I'm going to need some filters as well. Sorry. Fluid filter. This one. And is there a bigger version of this? No, there's not. Okay, so we're just going to have to use this one. Oh, and this quest also gives us 8 fluid conduit. 8 filters if we want that. I don't know. I'm going to have to see how big the filter is first. Because we might have a slight issue if it's too small. So let me go ahead and make one of these guys. And can I configure it? Yeah, I can. 5 slots, huh? Well, how many things do we want to send back for reprocessing in the cracking unit? 8, right? So we're going to need a different kind of filtering option, or we can just use 2 of them. Using 2 of them would not be a bad idea, to be honest. So we could use something like a buffer. How many... I don't know how many slots those buffers hold. Where are these buffers? Okay. We can just use a regular buffer. Because the... Wait a second. What am I doing? No, we don't need that for this. Okay. Okay, we're fine. I was thinking for some reason we're sending all of the fluids here to uh the same input hatch there. That is not the case. So I think we're fine with these filters. Filter, how many more do we have? We don't have any more. Let me just craft a few. I think 3 or 4 is going to be sufficient. Because really we just need to separate what is going into these guys. So you are going to be insert filter. I'm going to have these be, let's say our distillation tower outputs are going to be a black. Okay, and then I'm going to have this one be, which cracking unit do I have down here? This is program circuit 2. So this is where we're going to have steam cracked. Do these have like a common thing in their name? Steam cracked ain. They're all ain or een. Steam cracked knee? Sure. And then I don't want light and I don't want heavy. And I don't want refinery. All right, so that gets us most of what we want. So we want steam cracked ethane. We don't want ethylene. We don't want propene. We do want propane, butane, and butene. Okay, so those are the 4 we want to put for the cracking circuit number 2. Up here, we are going to want, how did this get unstackable? There we go. This one is going to be our refinery gas, naphtha, and light fuel. So this is going to be steam crack lightly. Steam crack lightly. So we're going to want this one, the light fuel, the naphtha, and the refinery gas. Okay, and then this one over here is just going to be heavy fuel, steam, severely steam cracked heavy fuel. Wait, no, this is what they're making. Oh shoot. this These are the outputs. I've just put the outputs in all these filters. We need these to be the inputs. Gosh darn it. Heavy fuel. Heavy fuel. Okay. Darn it. Need gas. Oh gosh, okay. Ethane. I'm just gonna do these one by one, I guess. Ethane, butane, butene, and propane. And then, can I do parentheses and then say... No, that is not really working as I want it to. Okay, so we need ethane gas, propane gas, butene gas, and butane gas. Okay. Make sure these are different because they're like the same word with one letter different. All right. Here we need light fuel, naphtha, and binary gas. Light fuel, and then where's naphtha? I think I spelled naphtha wrong. Okay, well, refinery gas, and then naph, N-A-P, N-A-P-H, N-A-P-H-T-H-A. All right, naphtha. All right, cool. So that's configured how it should be, and this is heavy fuel. Okay. Ugh, that was not good. But all right, those should all be configured now. Here we can have steam coming up. And these don't really need to intersect, but they also don't need to be separate as long as I keep the colors the same. So since it's steam and steam is white, we're just going to put steam on white. This one needs to be extract. There we go. So that's just going to get the steam in there. I don't want multiple holes to get these inputs in here, actually, so we are gonna do... I could also have the inputs underneath, but, like, there's some point where I'm like, okay, well, I need to be able to access it, so... Alright, there we go. That's where that's gonna go, and I'm just gonna have the fluids go under, or I could have them go over as well. Why don't we have them go over? Because there's already going to be wiring and stuff running underneath. So I don't want to make it too cluttered under there. Why are you set to green extract? Alright. We'll put another steam cracker up here, maybe. Me also puts the stupid wire on top of the machine. I think this would look better if it goes over and then down. Same over here. I think this would look better if it goes over, up and then over. Alright. Alright, so our refinery outputs, our steam cracking outputs, let's just put this as, what's a good color for that? Let's do light gray. Why light gray? I don't know, because it's steam is gray if you put stuff in it. Just, I don't know, man. Insert light gray. Okay, so those are set up. Just need to link those up together. Let's actually finish building our multi-block so we know where our output hatches are going to be and stuff. So we are going to have 5 layers of quadruple output hatches. And I'm just going to have these run up the side, I think. Alright, this is going to be a little annoying to build with the double jump boots, if that's what I want to do. And then we need 6 more output hatches. 3. Alright. 4, and then I'm going to have to wrench this one. 5. And then 6. Alright, so there's all of our output hatches, and these are going to output on, we said black, right? Yes, okay. So these need to be... Let me get my conduit probe so that I can copy-paste the configuration. Extract on black, always active. Alright. Copied the conduit settings. Now we're just going to paste the conduit settings once we get all the conduits pasted. Oh gosh, sorry. I was just coming up here to make sure I could see what I was doing. Turn on my night vision to help me see a little bit better over here. Okay. I don't normally like night vision on the base. Alright. Probably don't need the conduit probe anymore. Alright, and then we're gonna need some tanks. We are storing... Where was my spreadsheet where I had a list of what we're actually storing? Oh, it was not my spreadsheet. It was my MS Paint. Here we go. Okay, so we're going to need 7 tanks for storing stuff. Actually, 6, because helium is going to go somewhere else. But yeah, we're going to need 6 tanks for storing stuff. Do we have a super tank over here? All right, I'm going to steal that one, and then we're going to buy... We're going to make 5 more super tanks. And what are we missing? Polyethylene pulp. Okay, well, we know how to make that. We need polyethylene pulp, and we make sheets, so we are going to macerate a polyethylene sheet to make the pulp. And that's just going to go in our macerator. Do we know how to make sheets, though? We don't actually know how to make the polyethylene sheets. Let me, I guess, teach it that really quick. Fluid solidifier, and our fluid solidifier is right here. All right, now we know how to make those. All right, super tank 5, please. All right, looks all good. Craft away. You'll love to see it. All right. While that's going, what else are we gonna need? Some fluid storage buses. Yeah, we're gonna need like 5 of those. Oh, missing sticky piston of all things. Do we know how to make pistons? We do know how to make pistons, so let's make sticky pistons really quick. Um, I mean, how's our resin? I know we have some resin, but it's like we're not really using it. How's our slime ball situation? Ooh, okay. Well, we could make slime balls from pristine matter. Oh no, we can't. We would have to put it in the alchemical matter infuser, which we have not crafted yet. So probably just go ahead and do sticky piston. Do we have yeah, we can search by slime ball, but it's not or dictionary. We can't or dictionary search slime ball, can we? Pink slime, lime. Yeah, we do not have any other slime currently. That would count as a slime ball. Coagulated blood, maybe? No, we don't even have that. Okay, I think we're just gonna do pistons with this guy. And we will allow substitutions. Alright, and what was I making again? Sticky piston. Ah, yes, fluid storage buses. Our super tanks are ready. Wait, why did I make 6? Oh, we need 6. Okay, that's correct. Alright, 6 fluid storage buses. I believe some of these are going to be making carbon as an output as well. So we're going to need some interfaces to get, we're going to need helium to get out, and we're also going to need carbon to get out. So let's make a dual interface. Why don't I have dual interface automated? Or just automate this guy real quick. All right, so dual interface. Should be nice and fast craft. I mean, if it didn't have to do all the quartz glass and the illuminated panels, and then the actual interface itself takes like 10 seconds. All right, dual interface done. That's going to be for returning our hydrogen and our carbon from the distillation tower. Empowered oil doesn't create carbon, does it? No. Okay. We'll need to get the diesel out of there, though. Oh, that's going to be on a separate line. Okay, not worried about that. Never mind. Okay, what else did we need here? I think that's kind of it for now. So let's go back down here and continue setting stuff up. So I think for our actual storage of where these fluids are going to come out, I'm going to have them... Let's see, our distillation tower is going to be like this. I think I would like for them to go ahead and pop out over like here, maybe. We've already built all of this up, though. That's fine. I can go over the top of the distillation tower. How about that? Wait, no, then it would look dumb. There's a pipe going up and down both sides of the tower. Why would I want that? Let's just have this come across here. Good job building there. Very accurate. So right here, and then I'll have the tanks plugged in there. Let's disconnect this one and break that one. So I'll have our tanks coming along like that. That should be good. And these are going to be inserting on the black channel. And let me go ahead and put all these guys over here. And we're not going to be putting filters in these pipes. Instead, we're going to be filtering the tanks directly. Oh, wait, hold on. We need to have access to... Yeah, you know what I'm going to do instead of putting these on top? I'm going to break all of these. Let's do it on the bottom, after all. So let's go ahead and go down here. All right, there's all 6 of them. All right, we need to insert on black, and then I'm going to use my conduit probe to copy paste that everywhere. Go night vision mode again so I can see what I'm doing. Paste, paste, paste. This was the source one. Paste, paste. I couldn't really see that one to confirm I did it correctly. There we go. Okay, yep, we did everything correctly there. And then I can just have this line go out right here instead of being like across the middle of my little hole there. All right, there we go. So that goes to our tanks. Our fluid storage buses are going to be on top and configured. But before we do that, let me filter these. So we are actually collecting and creating from our setup here. Toluene. There we go. Toluene. I'm not gonna void toluene because that's probably like one of our main things we want. Benzene. We can void this one if we get too much. Butadiene. I am going to void that one if we get too much, just because we don't need a lot. And if we get too much, we still need to keep making propene or toluene. Propene is the next one. Void that one. Ethylene and methane are the last two. Ethylene and methane. Hello. Thank you for watching so far. We got a little bit carried away in this recording over here. It started to get rather long. Once again, I had 2 hours of footage, so I'm gonna just put a break in here and kind of wrap it up into 2 separate episodes. If you are enjoying the series, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.